Oh, happy holidays. In this sacred times, it's a great idea to sit down with loved ones, give presents, eat good food, awkwardly laugh at that uncle's racist joke, and feel Jesus in our hearts, and hopefully with some eggnog on our livers. Or we can watch a true crime documentary about absolute garbage excuse of a human being. Yeah, we're making bad decisions. Mr Swirl, the internet's most disturbed user, by Nick Crowley. You should watch the video for sure. It's actually a very well-made video, but if you don't feel like it, I understand, I get it. I'm gonna give you the cliff notes. The video is about one of the most infamous, evil, and horrible child predators of all time, dubbed as Mr Swirl. It's customary in these cases to not say people's actual name in order to protect their identity and make sure nothing bad happens to them. Well, I don't give a fuck. His name is Chirstopher Pual Niel, a professional shitbag. Or oh no, he's a teacher. Being a professional shitbag is just his hobby. Fuckface Chris over here is, a convicted child molester, and he was the subject of a highly publicized Interpol investigation of the sexual abuse of 12 young boys in many different countries, including Vietnam, Thailand, and God. But you might be asking, Ash, why are you making a video about this? If everyone else has talked about it and there are a lot of resources like dictating every single part of his life, what's the point of this? And you'll be correct. I don't want to repeat some bullshit other people have said. The point of this video is very simple. I think I'm going mad. I watched Nick's video like 10 times and read on this monster like hundreds of times, and every source, every video, every single web page made me want to lose it. This guy is an absolute moron, but everywhere kind of pretend that the whole situation was very delicate and fascinating and deep and smart. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. In order to prove my case that this guy is probably the dumbest criminal that has ever reached the height of this sort of notorious infamy, let's just watch the video and we'll see, alright?
In 2004, German police entered a long-forgotten storage unit where beneath the piles of junk and old appliances, they'd unearth a single hard drive.
Basically, in 2004, German police randomly came across a lot of different cases and storages of thousands of pictures and videos, but through all of them, there were a lot of cheese pizza. Lot of cheese pizza, just a lot of it. A shit ton. It's very normal in any CP material that the person that is actually doing the horrendous shit tries to be outside of it. They don't want to capture themselves in it because jail. But not Mr. Swirl. No, he was very out and proud in front of the camera without any hesitation whatsoever. But with one minor detail.
And although his entire body was shown in these photographs, the only thing hiding his identity was the addition of a single effect, one that swirled the man's face into a distorted, pixelated mess, making him completely unrecognizable, and leaving his face to look like this.
If you're a police and you get a lot of these CP, obviously, as Nick puts it, it's, a day in the office. This is what you are kind of used to. But seeing something like this, a guy openly laughing in your face that, you can't do shit. I'm here. You can't see me. Immediately you'll think, oh, what a fucking idiot. I can just, I have the picture. I'll just revert the whole twirliness and probably figure out who it is. But then Nick says this.
As the images began to be dissected, it quickly became apparent that deciphering the sensor was going to be far more difficult than initially thought, and potentially even impossible, as the pixels had been scrambled in such a unique way that there wasn't any known method to unscramble it.
When I heard this, at this point, I was, on the fence. I had no idea what the whole thing was about and totally believed it. I assumed that Chris basically disguised himself with some sort of blur or pixel manipulation before the twirling effect, so when they tried to reassemble it, nothing of matter came out, and I was like, alright, yeah, this guy is a evil piece of shit, but he's kind of smart, I suppose, and that makes it worse. So I was more hooked, and I wanted to continue about the whole thing. I was wrong. When you have these many pictures and you can't really crack the main part of it, you might as well look at the other stuff in the photo. And after they did this, they concluded that this guy, whoever he is, actually has a series of crimes committed in multiple countries. They found Vietnam, South Korea, Cambodia, Thailand, Philippines, you name it, which makes the whole thing more complicated. Because of this, Interpol stepped in. Oh shit, great, international police. I've seen a lot of cop shows. I know this is gonna go down. You're gonna have some genius that doesn't play by the rules and figures it out in an afternoon. No, they fucking didn't. It took them years. Wow, alright. But if the guy is very smart, it makes sense, you know, it takes years to find someone who is, you know, a genius, master, evil piece of shit, so whatever. But what were the constraints? What was so hard about it? And this video and a lot of resources basically put it at this. Number one, the twirl effect. The big thing, the Mr Swirl's secret sauce. You don't know who he is, so you can't do it. Number two, the nature of the crime being very international, right? There are different countries. You can't just easily just figure something out. And third one, it's an active case, so there's more pressure. Okay, wait a fucking minute. Why is this a constraint? Doesn't that mean more, like, evidence? But how did they figure out this case is still active? The Interpol checked different places that are more degenerate pieces of shit, enjoy cheese pizza, and saw a lot of photos come up by, you know, this guy's effect. In fact, after the whole Mr. Swirl thing got into the media and people were intrigued by it, Chris felt like a fucking hero. He loved the attention and he started doing more and more, releasing more pictures and more stuff, kind of taunting the whole thing because, ho ho ho, you can't catch me because he's smart, he's a genius. There's no way they can find him. This guy makes zero errors, zero, absolutely none. Okay, what is this next part of the video about?
Within these postings, Mr. Swirl had forgotten to hide his IP address, in turn revealing the general area in which they had been sent, with the location being Vancouver, Canada.
He didn't hide his IP address. He didn't fucking hide his IP address! This one sentence shattered the illusion for me. Excuse me, wait a minute. So you kinda know where he is, and by the second constraint, you know he travels a lot. You also know the time span of all the crimes. Did he swim to these countries? He had to have flown to these different countries, correct? Flights have databases, correct? You know where he kinda is, and you know where he has been to. You have the date. Why don't you find it? I am gonna write you 2 lines of code that could have figured this whole thing out. Are you ready? This is not hard. You can follow with me, all right? Come on. We have select motherfucker's name from airplane's database where motherfucker's address equals whatever hellhole he's in by the IP address, and motherfucker's destination equals all the different countries, including hell, between the date and the other date. That's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. This is not hard, by the way. This is not some sort of genius wizardry. This is literally SQL 101. Obviously, you might not get the person like outright, but you will get like a list of people, right? I would sell my left nut if more than like 20 people just casually travel to like Eastern Asian countries and, you know, from that small zone in Vancouver, Canada. They wouldn't do that. They're too busy eating donuts. They don't want cheese pizza. I'm so sorry. I just thought this in a few seconds, and I'm a huge fucking dumbass. You're telling me Interpol and the entire police forces of these different countries did not think of this. Just didn't think of this. There's no way. They probably did, right? They probably did, and there was some sort of mistakes. Again, this guy's kinda smart, I guess. Not the fuck he's not. But, you know, the police is also very, very capable and very smart. That's what Brooklyn Nine-Nine told me. So they would have figured this out. Remember the effect that was seemingly impossible to untwirl? I wonder what's new with that.
One member of the team would actually recognize the swirl as having come from a fairly standard editing program. And so, in what must have felt like a Hail Mary at the time, an investigator put one of the images into that very same editing software, then clicked that very same swirl effect, and simply reversed it. which in turn led to this.
I'm sorry, what? It was Photoshop. It was fucking Photoshop. He just Photoshopped it. He just went to Photoshop and used a twirl effect. That's it. That's all there is. There is zero pixel manipulation or blur enhancement or some sort of weird encryption of the pixels. Nothing. It was just a twirl. You're telling me for 3 years, when they were saying we are trying so hard to encrypt this insane photo, they didn't even use Photoshop? So they didn't use the most famous application for this stuff? What the fuck were they doing? What the fuck were they doing? Were they just sitting around in like a classroom like, guys, I'm trying to squint a lot. I don't know. My head can't really do it the other way. This guy's a genius. This guy's ooh. What if I turn my head this way? You know what I bet? I bet there was a fucking intern. I swear to God, there was that some random 22-year-old that was just walking by, giving coffees, looked at the monitor and was like, oh, who the fuck is that? Yeah, this is the most genius, notorious crime lord. No one ever knows who he is. He uses the amazing twirl effect that we have no idea where it's from. Oh, it kind of looks like Photoshop. Photoshop? What are you talking about? We're not buying anything. We can't even pay you, you unpaid fuck. Yeah, but like, the application, just put it in there and just like, there you go. That's the guy. What was that? Some minorities need to be beaten up? I'm sorry, kid. I gotta go. Duty calls. I'm genuinely pissed the fuck off. This is insane. This is absolutely fucking insane. When I was watching this with my girlfriend at a time, we both dropped everything we were doing and we're just randomly glued to the TV. We went back, tried to like repeat this because there was no way it was just random Photoshop. Then I actually went to, Reddit and different places to figure out, wait, was this easy? People said that, oh, they kind of knew it was Photoshop, but back then, Photoshop did not have an untwirl effect. That's a fucking bullshit. You don't even need that shit. I don't know why they say this. Twirling does not remove pixels. Meaning, as long as the twirl effect exists, they can just twirl it the other way. You're telling me a guy that doesn't hide his IP address and uses just a random twirl effect and makes a massive amount of cheese pizza and just puts it out there, outsmarted Interpol. Immediately after figuring out who he is, they plastered his face everywhere asking for information and stuff like that. And obviously Chris saw this and tried to flee. Now, where would you flee, you think, if you are, facing this sort of crime? You could go anywhere. You could go to America, right? You can go to Vatican. Churches are very good with that sort of thing. You can do that.
Chirstopher made the decision to flee the country, being spotted in this image captured at an airport in Thailand.
Or you could just go back to fucking Thailand.
They always return to the scene of the crime.
Huh? Those images that he had posted during the investigation weren't actually posted to his computer. He decided to upload all of his CP to his internet friends. But rather than using his personal device or a public computer, he instead broke into his own brother's laptop and uploaded his content there. That way, the images would be tracked to his brother and not him.
What? So this is a new level of stupidity that I can't just comprehend it. What the fuck was the plan? Oh, because they will never know it's me if it's my brother. Hi sir, are you this guy's brother? Yeah. Did you travel to any places? No. Did your brother travel? Yes. Yeah, yes, he did. I don't. What the fuck?
Okay, fine. Lloyd and I will play one-on-one. Yeah, head-to-head.
How can you play one-on-one? If you smell a fart and you didn't do it, isn't it obvious the other guy did?
I thought you said you never played before.
This reminds me when I was like 11, I wanted to watch nudies on the internet, but I didn't want to log in with my own user in the family computer. No. I logged in with my parents' user and searched stuff, because if they find it, I can just say, hey, that's not my user, so you guys might need to have something to talk about. This guy is so incredibly stupid that it hurts me. And more importantly, it hurts me to know Interpol couldn't catch this guy for like 3 to 4 years. I don't feel safe. This is the part of the video that I want to talk about. One of the main reasons I am even making this. It's defunding the police. Oh my god, it's a fucking liberal communist, a fucking kick. No, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up for a second. Listen to me. Listen, come here. Come here. Good kid. Listen for a second. Whenever someone says defund the police or shit like that, everyone gets their panties up and like, what do you want? Do you want everyone to like shoot each other and go outside? No, that's the schools, they do that. People that say defund the police actually mean is not to not pay police officers. It's not to like withhold resources. It means shit like this. There is a fundamental, horrible lack of knowledge within the police force. And it's not because of the policemen at all. I have friends that work in the police force. I understand that it took them 6 months to get a badge. 6 fucking months. 6 months? By defunding the police, we actually mean instead of, I don't know, creating a goddamn military town with billions and millions of dollars, you could just get a fraction of that and educate people more. How about that? How about instead of 6 months of doing this whole police training, you do it for a few years? It's fine. It's okay. People can handle it. Instead of giving money to people to patrol minority-driven areas and gang up on people and put people in jail for minute reasons in order to get some sort of quota up, how about, put that money in sort of systematic infrastructure. Make sure people actually have resources that they can attend to if they need help. If you're telling me it took entire Interpol police force that's billions and trillions of dollars invested in them all over the globe just to fail to catch this motherfucker for years, something is wrong. No matter what your political affiliation is, no matter what you believe, whatever you want to believe, something is deeply wrong and has to be fixed. Defunding the police is something that catches eyes, right? You can't make a slogan like, hey guys, let's allocate police resources for better equality and judgment. That's too much, You have like a sign and like paint, and paint is expensive these days. Biden's America. So you just instead say defund the police. It's easier, faster, to the point. And if you actually understand it, you realize it's a great deal for law enforcement. Because guess what? Law enforcement are also underpaid. Of course they are. Instead of spending so much money on random bullshit, just give them more raises. Give them more responsibility. Make it more important to them to be a very good member of the society in order to uphold the people instead of the capital interest. Oh no, it's capitalism again! Anyway, as much as I want to talk about like the police and capital affiliation, that's for another video. I want to talk about something a bit more deep, because people think that police is end all be all, that is where the toxicity started. It is not. The judicial system is inherently fucking flawed. I can spend hours trying to describe every fucking horrible thing judicial system has done and does and operates around it. How the idea of like jury style things is bad and makes the entire thing into a theatric show, how judges have profit level powers for some reason, and so on and so on and so forth. But instead, I just leave you with this part of the video.
It wouldn't take long for police to knock on the door of an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere, in which Chirstopher Niel happened to be hiding.
They got him. It's great. Oh my god. What is gonna happen? How are they gonna punish this son of a bitch? Oh yeah, this is the part of the anime that shit gets good.
Niel will be charged for his assault on those 3 young boys from the internet cafe, as it was the only crime they could prove had taken place in their country, and with it carried a prison sentence of 5 years. Admittedly, the sentencing was light, but the plan was to have Niel turned over to Canadian authorities after he did his time in Thailand, where they would also prosecute him all over again, with the hope being that they could do the same thing with countries like Cambodia and Vietnam, and essentially force him to live out his life in prison.
5 years. Oh, I mean, okay, so the idea is that he's gonna get 5 years in Thailand and then 5 years in different countries. Sort of like the the tour prison chomo style. If you actually do this for like 30, 40 years in each country, that's great. Many other countries did not come forward in order to prosecute him as well. Cambodia, Vietnam, blah, blah, blah. They just did not care. Countries in East Asia actually do have a huge problem with sexual assault cases and how they don't really care about it, which is fucking awful. After all this, he returned to Canada. You know what? Fine. This is still good. He can face judgment here. Canadian system, that's like Western shit. That's the white people. They got it. They gotta figure it out. No problem.
However, when the sentence was completed in 2012 and Chirstopher was deported back to Canada, the shocking decision was made to allow Chirstopher Niel to walk free.
I don't have a joke for this. I genuinely don't. I can, fling around and be like, oh, the fuck they dare to. No, this is horrible. This is just plain horrible. The reason that the judge gave was, it was outside the country, right? Like, who gives a fuck about those weird, Asian people? I don't care. You're here. That's okay. Judge, you're a piece of shit. You are as bad as Chris, if not worse, unironically. Because Chris, although a huge evil piece of garbage and a stupid moron, he does have a problem. You are a place of power. You can have an impact. And you just decide not to. So congratulations, you are the true villains of the story.
When Niel was detained in Canada, authorities let him walk under the condition that he would never own a device that connected to the internet again. Not even a full year later in 2013, it would be uncovered that Chirstopher Niel had somehow managed to purchase a computer. When investigators seized the device, they would, unsurprisingly, find even more CP.
I am shocked! Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
Absolutely fucking surprised. The guy goes out and immediately, less than a year later, he does cheese pizza again. Of course he fucking does.
And so, to make up for this, the judge would give Chirstopher Niel the whopping sentence of just 5.5 years, with time served, meaning that he would only end up in jail for a little over 14 months.
They sentenced him to a little more than a year. I can't believe that people are not as outraged about this as they should be. People are mad, of course. Everyone agrees this is a huge, stupid thing that they have done. But I don't think they feel the depth of it. People with drugs serve more than this. People with actual problems, with homelessness, with not being able to pay to eat, serve more than this. I genuinely don't understand why this has happened. The only thing I can think of, someone needs to search the judge's hard drive. After I watched this video, I was broken. My girlfriend was broken. We have lost the smallest amount of hope we had in the system because of this. But this is not where I'm gonna end this video. In the beginning of the video, I said I don't like true crime. I never did. And the reason why I felt there is an undertone of glorification whenever these people are talked about. Now, I fully understand Nick's style of video telling, especially like creepy true crime video telling, is kind of dependent on the idea of making the viewer feel helpless. It's villain horror 101. Take control of the viewer. And you do that by kind of upplaying and mystifying and make the main antagonist creepy, right? That is something that you can do in order to get more feelings to the viewer, because that's all there is. But in doing so, you create a character that you assume is just a glorified mastermind. This guy is an absolute moron. He should not have been able to do all this for this long. He should have been punished more. The true villains of this entire video are the police and the judge. That's what this is about. I'm not attacking Nick Crowley at all. I absolutely love his videos, but you need to understand, although they cover like a lot of heinous shit and a lot of them are actually smart people, they need to also change the style of their storytelling depending on who they're talking about. I feel like that's very hard for them because that's what their bread and butter is. This is what people come back to get a sort of feeling that true crime capitalizes on.
Fear and admiration.
But watching videos like this, watching title articles about him as this Mr. Swirl, this insane, creepy, and horrible puppeteer of the police and Interpol just makes me sick to my stomach. Say it how it is. He is a fucking moron that unfortunately had to deal with more morons as a police force that got a happy ending. This isn't a creepy true crime, it's just a sad reality check. Chris, the only thing I wish for you is conscious, so you'll be in pain. Also, berries don't fucking exist.